Hello students, in the previous video you learnt about the groups and periods of the periodic table in detail. In this particular video you will learn again about the main groups with special reference to alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, halogens and the zero group. We will also study about the disadvantages of the modern periodic table. We here have what is called as a chemical family. Chemical families on the periodic table. Chemical family is a group that contains elements with similar properties. So if in a group we have elements with similar properties, we call such a group as a chemical family. For example, we have group 1 with similar properties called as alkali metals, group 2 with similar properties called as alkaline earth metals, group 17 with similar properties called as halogens, and group 18 with similar properties called as noble gases. You must by heart group 1, group 2, group 17 and group 18 elements in logical sequence. You need to know the elements of these four groups in order. There is no need for you to by heart the elements of the other groups in order. We will learn each of these families. We have the elements belonging to group 1 commonly called as alkali metals. Here we have the elements from lithium to francium. The first three elements are lithium, sodium and potassium. These elements belonging to group 1 are called as alkali metals because they react with water to form strong alkalis. When we say alkalis, we mean strong bases or water soluble bases. Alkali metals have a similar physical and chemical properties. They are placed in a group because of their similarity in physical and chemical properties. Physical properties of alkali metals. Alkali metals are soft. That means they can be cut easily with a knife. This is unlike the general property of metals. We know metals are generally hard. The exception is alkali metals, which are soft. When freshly cut, each of these elements show a shiny and silvery surface that rapidly tarnishes in air. So when they are cut, they show a shiny appearance, which is again the property of a metal. But when they are exposed to the air, they quickly react with oxygen in the air and they form the respective oxides. The alkali metals have low melting and boiling points and they have low densities. The main groups, among the main groups, four main groups that we are learning, we have alkali metals. Alkali metals are strong reducing agents. They are electron donors. That means they donate electrons and have one valence electron in the outer shell, which can be easily removed. We know the group to which the element belongs indicates the number of valence electrons, or you can say the number of valence electrons will represent the group to which elements belong. Because they belong to group 1, they have one valence electron in the outer shell, which can be easily removed. They are electropositive metals. They are extremely reactive. They are found only in the form of compounds. You do not get them in the free state. They are stored in oil or argon gas to keep from reacting with air or water. I already told you that they are very reactive. When they are exposed to air, they quickly react with the oxygen of the air to form oxides. Similarly, they react with the water also to form the respective hydroxides, liberating hydrogen. That is why they are stored in oil or in argon gas. They form electrovalent compounds with nonmetals. Example KBr. With nonmetals, they form electrovalent or ionic compounds. You already know about ionic compounds. The reactivity of group 1a elements increases from top to bottom. The reactivity increases as we come from top to bottom. That means as we go across a period, the metallic character decreases. But as we come down the group, the metallic character always increases. That is why even in the activity series, we have potassium first and then sodium. That means the reactivity increases as we come down the group. We will see the second chemical family or the second main group, that is group 2 elements, which are called as alkaline earth metals. They are commonly known as alkaline earth metals. We have the elements belonging to the group 2 onto my left. You can see we have beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. These elements are commonly called as alkaline earth metals because they are alkaline in nature and found in the earth's crust. These two things you should know. But when you want to know the explanation of what we mean alkaline in nature, when they form oxides, these oxides are alkaline in nature. And these oxides, they remain unaffected by heat or fire, and they existed in the earth's crust. That is why we call them as alkaline earth metals. Alkaline because they are alkaline in nature. Earth metals because they are present in the earth's crust. The properties of alkaline earth metals, they are all metals. They have two electrons in the outer shell, that is they are divalent. They are very reactive, second most reactive group of metals. We have again almost the same thing, two valence electrons, harder than group 1 metals. They are less reactive than group 1 metals. That means the most reactive metals are alkali metals. They have higher melting points than alkali metals. The reactivity of group 2 elements also increases from top to bottom. That means the metallic character increases from top to bottom. As we know, the general trend of a group, the metallic character increases down the group. The same thing holds good even for group 2 elements. The metallic character across a period decreases, but down the group it increases. We'll learn the chemical family or the important main group, halogens. We have the halogen family or the halogens belonging to group 17. The old system of naming is 7A. You can see the position of the halogens in the periodic table. They are just placed before the noble gases in the periodic table. Let us see some of its physical and chemical properties. Coming to the chemical properties, they have 7 valence electrons. They are the most active nonmetals. Because they are the most active nonmetals or the most reactive nonmetals, they are never found free in nature. Halogen atoms need 1 electron to complete their octet. That means they need 1 electron to fill the valence shell. Halogen means salt producer or salt former. In the word halogen, halo means salt, gen means producer. This is the most likely question asked even in the exams. Why are elements belonging to group 17 called halogens? The answer for this should be the elements belonging to group 17 when react with metals form salts. That is the reason they are known as halogens. Now we have the halogens here, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Let us learn their state of matter in which they exist at room temperature. In this fluorine and chlorine, they exist in the gaseous state at room temperature. Bromine is the only liquid nonmetal. It exists in the liquid state. Iodine and astatine exist in solid state at room temperature. Now, some of the properties here are repeated. We have halogens which form covalent compounds with nonmetals. For example, we have taken the halogen chlorine which react with a nonmetal hydrogen to form hydrochloric acid. If we take the halogen chlorine reacting with carbon, it forms carbon tetrachloride, which is again a covalent compound. Halogens when react with hydrogen, they form acids. For example, halogen chlorine when react with hydrogen forms hydrochloric acid. Halogen bromine when reacts with hydrogen forms hydrobromic acid. Fluorine reacts with hydrogen to form hydrofluoric acid, and iodine reacts with hydrogen to form hydroiodic acid. Halogens are nonmetals except astatine. Astatine is a radioactive metalloid. Now, halogens are highly reactive with 7 valence electron, hence they are univalent. That means their valency is 1. They gain 1 electron, and it is very easy for them to gain 1 electron to complete their valence shell or to complete their octet configuration. They are strong oxidizing agents, electron acceptors. That means they accept electrons since they are non-metals. They gain electron or accept electron, hence they are strong oxidizing agents. The reactivity decreases down the group. Now here we are talking about the non-metallic character of the halogens. The non-metallic character decreases down the group. Actually, the non-metallic character, when we move across a period from left to right, increases. The opposite happens down the group. That is why the non-metallic character decreases down the group. We have fluorine, which is extremely reactive here, and iodine, which is the least reactive of the halogens. We now have another chemical family or the main group, that is the group 18, which are also called as the noble gases or the zero group elements or the inert gases. The group 18 elements are called noble gases because they rarely combine with other elements and are found only as uncombined elements in nature. All noble gases have full outer electron shells and do not need to gain, lose, or share electrons. This means that they are very stable and are most unreactive or inert of all the elements. They have duplet or octet configuration. That is the reason we say they are stable. And since they have stable electronic configuration, they do not react with any other elements. They do not normally form bond with other elements. They are monoatomic, which means that they exist as individual atoms. Most other gases are diatomic. After learning the four main groups, we will learn the other groups. We have the transition elements. These are some of the general characteristics of the transition elements. They are often used as catalyst or act as catalyst. They are less reactive than the alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. They mostly form colored compounds. They have high melting points and they have high density. Transition metals, they are referred to as typical metals. Now here we see the transition metals in the periodic table. They are positioned between group 3 and group 12 of the periodic table. They are all metals. They lie at the center of the periodic table. They are called as transition elements because they are placed between highly electropositive metals on the left. So we have highly electropositive alkali and alkaline earth metals to the left, and they are in between highly electronegative nonmetals towards the right. So since they are present between highly electropositive metals and highly electronegative metals, we call them as transition metal. Transition is nothing but change of phase from one phase to another. Here it is between metallic and non-metallic, hence known as transition. We have the inner transition elements. These are the two series which are present below the main periodic table with 14 elements each. The first series of elements, that is from cerium to lutetium, atomic number 58 to 71, are called as lanthanide series. You can also call them as rare earth elements because they are rarely found in the Earth's crust. The second series of elements from thorium, that is with atomic number 90 to atomic number 103, lawrencium, they are called as actinide series. Actinide series are also known as radioactive elements. These radioactive elements are chemically very reactive. So remember, inner transition elements are two series of elements, lanthanide series, actinide series with 14 elements each. Lanthanide series are also called as rare earth elements. Actinide series are also known as radioactive elements. We have the post-transition metals and the metalloids. The post-transition metals are a stair-step group beyond the transition metals. They come after the transition metals. That is why they are known as post-transition. Well-known elements like aluminium, tin, lead, as well as the elements which are not that very common, they are the gallium, thallium, indium, all belong to post-transition metals. Then metalloids are live on the stairs between the metals and non-metals. Metalloids are present between the metals and non-metals. The metalloids have the characteristics of both metals and the non-metals. Luster, hardness, conductivity, chemical reactivity are between the metals and non-metals. We have boron, silicon, arsenic, antimony, gallium, tellurium, astatine. All these are some of the metalloids, and the metalloids are semiconductors. We have the periodic table with a chemical subcategory. We are interested in the post-transition metal and the metalloid here. You can see all these elements in the same blue colored elements. The aluminium, gallium, indium, tin, lead, they all belong to the post-transition metals. Whereas we have a stair step here, again in blue color of a different shade. These boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, all these belong to metalloids. These metalloids are in between the metals and the non-metals. We will have a clearer view of the metalloids here. We have boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium and astatine. These are all the metalloids. Now we have the normal elements. The elements of the atoms of which only the valence shell or the outermost shell is incompletely filled are called normal elements. That means if the valence shell is incompletely filled, they are said to be normal and they are the normal elements. The elements of S block and P block together except 0 group constitute normal elements. So here we have S block, P block except the 0 group. They are the normal elements. They are reactive metals obviously because their valence shell is incomplete. In order to attain octet or duplet configuration, they lose, gain or share electrons. They are solids, liquids and gases. Alkali metals, alkaline earth metals and halogens, they are the normal elements. So we have alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, halogens and all of the other elements here as a normal elements. Typical elements are elements of the second period: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Representative elements are elements of the third period: sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur and chlorine. We have the difference between the inert gas elements and the normal elements. In the inert gas elements, you know that all the shells are completely filled, including the outermost shell. But in the atoms of normal elements, only the outer shell is incompletely filled. These elements, inert gas elements, are placed in 0 group or group 18 of the modern periodic table, whereas normal elements are placed in group 1 and 2 on the left and 13 to 17 on the right side of the modern periodic table. Inert gas elements have stable electronic configuration, hence they are chemically inactive, whereas normal elements do not have stable electronic configuration, hence they are chemically active. The valency of inert gas elements are 0, whereas normal elements, they show one type of valency, that is alkali metals valency 1, alkaline earth metals valency 2. Now we have the bridge elements. Sometimes an atom in the periodic table shows similarity of properties with another element of the next period and the next group diagonally. Such types of relationship between two elements are known as diagonal relationship. Now we have an example of the diagonal relationship. We find this between the elements of second period and the third period. Lithium and magnesium shows diagonal relationship. Beryllium and aluminium shows diagonal relationship. Boron and silicon shows diagonal relationship. That means they are similar in their properties. Diagonal relationship is a resemblance of the properties of the elements of the second group with their diagonally opposite members lying in the third group. Here we have a clearer view of the diagonal relationship: lithium, magnesium, beryllium, aluminium, boron, silicon. Now we have the properties of group 1 and group 17, or you can say the differences between the properties of group 1 and group 17. The elements which belong to group 1, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. Group 17, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Here the valency of alkali metals, they are univalent, one valence electron, and even halogens are univalent, but they have 7 valence electrons. Conductivity, when we talk about, these are the good conductors of heat and electricity, whereas halogens are bad or non-conductors of heat and electricity. Alkali metals are strong reducing agents, whereas halogens are strong oxidizing agents. They are electron donors because they are metals, they donate electrons, they are electron donors, and these are non-metals, they are electron acceptors. The alkali metals have low electronegativity, that is electropositive character increases from lithium to cesium. That is why electronegativity is low, whereas these have high electronegativity. They have electronegative character which decreases from fluorine to iodine. Now we will learn about the electron trends in the periodic table. When we talk about trends down a group, the number of shells increases by 1 down a group, but the number of valence electrons remain the same. This you know very well. The number of shells increases by 1 down the group, the number of valence electrons remain the same. Because the number of valence electrons are same, they have similar properties, but down across a period it is just the opposite. When we grow from left to right across the period, the number of shells increases by 1, whereas the number of valence electrons remains the same. After learning in detail about the modern periodic table or the Moseley's periodic table, we have learnt about the periods, about the groups in detail. Only the periodic trends or the properties is what we have not learnt in this particular standard, that you'll be learning in standard 10. We will now learn the demerits or the disadvantages of the modern periodic table. Now the limitations, the defects, the demerits or the disadvantages of the modern periodic table or the Moseley's periodic table is, it is unable to include lanthanides and actinides in its main body. That means there is no position for lanthanides and actinides in the main periodic table. It is brought down the main periodic table. This is one of the disadvantage. The problem of the position of hydrogen in the table has not been solved completely. We very well know that hydrogen behaves both like a metal as well as a non-metal, and hence it has got two positions in the periodic table. It is placed among the alkali metals, it is also placed among the halogens. But hydrogen should have been given a separate place in the modern periodic table or the Moseley's periodic table. This is another disadvantage of the Moseley's periodic table. After knowing the demerits, we will now conclude the lesson. This is the end of the chapter, the periodic table. You look at the description box for any assignments. Thank you.